I'm super keen. Have you found a method in the madness of managing two businesses side by side?
Well, funnily enough, I kind of had figured out how to manage my stay-at-home parenting with little kids and my other
Mm,
business. And I've
mm,
kind of used that model now for my two businesses. Obviously, the one that's bringing in most of the money is the Divorce Course podcast. So I focus on that most of my time.
mm.
And then the business coaching, which is my passion always, Bossy Mummy, I kind of now treat it like the stay-at-home mum stuff I used to do, I'm super scheduled, like I'm super organized and
Mm,
scheduled. So I
mm.
have specific things that have to be done for each business,
Yeah,
and I have specific days I do it.
yeah.
And it's like routine for me, clockwork. So I don't get
Mm,
up in the morning and go, what am I going to do today? I get up and I go, oh, it's Wednesday. I have to do this, this, and this. And
yeah,
then if I have any spare time, because I'm getting faster at doing things, that's
yeah.
when I can squeeze some more Bossy Mummy in. I leave one day fully for business coaching for once a week,
Mhm.
and then I squeeze Bossy in when I can
Yeah.
around it. And I guess that's like anyone who's starting a business and they've got a job. Like
Mm,
I know I
mm.
do coach a lot of women that are working full time and they're trying to get their side hustle as a full time hustle.
Yes.
And it's all about finding that time. When can I do it? And sometimes, unfortunately, it is. I'd really like to watch that new Game of Thrones thing, but I'm going to do this instead.
Yes. I'm going to launch a course instead. Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Mm,
And when it comes to those big projects, like when we had to do the course, because it's huge and lots of videos and PDFs and all of that, and it took forever, but I decided I was just going to write off 2 weeks and not do anything else but that. And it was
mm.
intense, and I knew I only had those 2 weeks and there wasn't much sleep involved, but once it was done, it was done. So yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a big project, I focus fully on it, and otherwise I have the same things that I do each week that are getting me to my goals. So yeah, that's how I kind of squeeze it all in. Yes.
I love that because I'm not going to lie, as I said, I get a lot out of these sessions, just as everyone dialing in. I'm
Yeah.
kind of in that funny phase at the moment where I've got all of these things on my to-do list that I want to get done before the end of the year.
Mm.
But unfortunately, that's like putting me in a bit of a sense of overwhelm, like oh
Yeah.
my God, I don't even know where to start. And I
Mm.
really love that idea of, okay, these are the non-negotiables that I schedule in. And
Yeah.
then kind of everything else is the side hustle. Everything else is the nice to have.
Yes. Yeah. And then you have to kind of say, well, if I do want to have this nice to have thing, what am I
Mm,
going to give up? What am I sacrificing? And then you'll know whether it's worth it if you're willing to
mm,
sacrifice it. But it really does. It's a numbers game. There's only a certain amount of hours in the day, and what you focus on grows. So you've got to make
mm.
sure that most of those hours in the day are on what it is that you really, really want, not or because like we have so many ideas.
Mm.
So you just gotta.
I
I
literally
actually
have
have.
like 2 pages
There
full
we
of
go.
them that I'm going, oh my God, when Danielle, when is that happening?
Yeah, but I literally at the beginning of each month I have a section in my diary too, and I go, look, I write everything down I want to do. Then I
Mm.
go, can I fit this in? And then I just leave that for the following month. And I might not get to it at this year, but we'll get there eventually when I get better at things.
No, I think it's so good, right? Because I love the idea of, okay, well, what am I willing to sacrifice to do that extra thing that might
Mm,
be, it might be a good idea, or it might just be on a whim that I'm
yeah,
deciding that that's a good idea.
yeah,
And am I willing to sacrifice that? Because I think, there is also, as you said, sometimes there's family, sometimes there's health, sometimes there's us as humans outside of our businesses. When do we get time for that if all we're
yeah.
doing is like business, business, business?
Yeah, that's right. And that is something I've really tried to work on this year, to really, because I've always been that, I can do anything, I'll push on, it's all good. And then I
Mm,
think everybody's learnt through the last 2 years, okay, maybe pushing yourself completely to the brink is not a good idea.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, from now on, I actually have a list every month, and I make sure I've scheduled in at least 2 appointments that are for me, taking care of me,
Yep.
and 2 or 3 seeing friends. So I have to book it in and
Yeah.
make a commitment. Okay, I'm going to do that. And I know it sounds trivial, but like going to a cafe and seeing your friends or your business mates or your family for half an hour fully lifts you and gives you that extra boost to go. So I've really pushed myself this year to schedule that in, and I've noticed a huge change, because otherwise I was always like, oh, I can't really fit you in, I'm sorry. But now I'm like, nope, I'm going to do 3 people. I'm going to see 3 of my friends. Otherwise, you don't see them ever. You just like go, oh, I haven't seen you for like 6 months. Where did the time go?
I know. And you're right though, if you don't actually plan for it,
Yeah.
it's very easy to say, oh, well, my calendar's full this week, so I literally can't do it. And I love that you're actually intentionally at the start of the month going, no, I have this many friend dates, I have this many self dates, and they actually get in the calendar before everything gets filled up.
Yeah. Otherwise, you end up setting yourself up for failure too, because you will probably end up going to see them because you'll feel guilty that you haven't scheduled them. And then what it is that you're supposed to be doing falls aside. And if, like you, and if any of your listeners work from home for themselves, you can easily just go, I'm going to take today off. And then that's when you get a cropper, because you're like, oh, I'm so far behind, or oh, I feel really bad because I didn't get what I was going to get done. So yeah, it's hard. But I have noticed that it has had a huge effect on my mental health.